Hey guys, so we're going to be doing a video today on how to replace a screen on an iPhone 6s. I'm in the shop by myself, so if somebody comes in, I'll have to pause the video and then I'll get back to it. A few tools that I use, and it's up to you guys what you want to use, but this is a Torx 1.5 for the bottom screws down here. Phillips screwdriver, just a small one that we use for taking out pretty much all the screws that's going to be needed to take out. This and this, which is tweezers and X-Acto knife set or something similar, in order to possibly take the screen out if it's got the seal around it, and also to work with the home button and the prox sensor. So I'm going to get started. Taking the bottom screws out now. That's your T1.5s. And most all this stuff you can get on eBay, Amazon, someplace like that. It's pretty simple. Now when it comes to taking the screen out, you can either try to use your fingernail. A lot of times I let one of my fingernails grow just a little longer so I can actually get down in there. Use your fingernail and kind of just go around the perimeter of the screen and work on popping that screen up. So just keep going around the finger like that, around the corner, and then the screen comes up. It's pretty simple. If you need to, you can always use this tool, kind of go up underneath here and just pop it up, or to kind of cut the seal. Now, one of the things that I do, and you may not see it in some of the videos that you watch on YouTube, but you always want to remove the battery connection, just to prevent any kind of potential shorts, backlight issues, or something like that. So I'll just pop this battery out, take those two screws out, pop the battery out, and you're good to go. Next part is take the 4 screws out up here that cover the LCD, the digitizer, home button, prox sensor connections, all of those. Make sure and kind of lay those out in order. It is potential to have long screw damage if you put them back in the wrong place. So then just pop these out with your fingernail or something similar. I would not use metal, just to make sure that you don't do any damage to the board itself. That's why I use my fingernail. There's 3 connections on an iPhone 6s. If you buy screens, we do have a website. It's called iCell, ICELL gadgets.com, and we sell these screens. What you will notice though is there's only 2 connections on most all the screens that you'll buy on eBay, Amazon, pretty much anywhere, because we transfer the small parts from here. This is your ear speaker, your prox sensor, this is your metal backing, and then this is your home button. So we take all these screws out, we transfer this stuff over to the other screen, and then we put it back in reverse order. So we'll start removing that now. I'm going to set this up out of the way. There's 3 screws that hold the ear speaker cover and prox sensor cover. So you take those 3 out. Now I apologize, my setup is horrible right now. If you could actually see how I'm recording this video, it is a real mess, but it's all I've got at the moment. So here's your prox sensor. You can tell it's an original because it has the logo. Usually what I use is maybe just something like this, just to kind of get up underneath here and remove the mic first. Try to prevent any kind of damage to the prox. And I pull that out right there. There's your prox sensor. Just set it off to the side. And then I pull the screws out here to remove the metal plate. Typically there would be 8 screws. There's one up here at the top. Then there's one here, 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 right here. Then you've got 3 on the other side as well. It just looks like somebody's worked on this before and there was one screw already missing. Now, once all 7 of those screws are out, you can remove the metal plate. Just like I say, set that to the side, kind of where all the other screws are. And I always lay them out in order, that way it's easy to remember. Next thing is the home button. You just got 2 screws here. Every one of these screws are Phillips, so all you need is that Phillips screwdriver for it. In the future, we'll do videos on iPhone 7s where they use tri-wing screwdrivers, or at least that's what I call them. They look like Phillips, but if you're not careful, you'll strip the screws. They are not. They are called a tri-wing. So now you just got to pop the home button connection loose right here. I use my fingernail a lot of times, or I use like an X-Acto knife. And then you've got to get this out. You just kind of want to go up underneath it. Don't rip it. And then pull that out. Now, a couple things to remember. Well, like I say, this thing's been worked on before. It's in pretty rough shape. But a couple things to remember: if you mess this home button up, it is possible to replace the home button, but you're going to lose your fingerprint scanner. So just know that and be ready to tell a customer that if that happens. Okay, so it does look like that the screen that I've got right now has this metal plate on there, so I'm not going to have to put this back on. I'll be able to just use that for spare parts later. A couple of more things I want to show you. A lot of times, and this one's already marked, but right here's where the prox sensor goes. I don't know if you can see that in the video or not, but right there's where the prox sensor goes. If that's not blacked out good, there's a possibility that the prox will not work at all. So you always want to check that when you're transferring small parts over. You want to check your prox sensor, your ambient light sensor, your ear speaker, your front camera, and your home button, of course. But all you do when you put the prox back in is just exactly how it came out. And what we may end up doing, and I don't know, I'll probably post this video full length, but in future videos, if it's requested, we won't necessarily show putting everything back together, since it's pretty much in reverse order of how it came out. Now what you've seen there is I put the prox in and the ambient light sensor and pushed everything down, and then I put the ear speaker on top and then just folded the front camera on top of the ear speaker, and it has little gold connectors up here that connect the ear speaker that you can't really see from this angle, but that's how I put that back in. And you'll always be able to kind of tell if it's in right, and the main thing that wouldn't be in correctly would be the prox sensor. So you got to make sure it's seated down into that space properly. Now once these screws are back in there, you know, you got your 3 screws back in. All these screws are in now. One thing you have to do if you've got the metal plate already on there from the factory is you'll have to pull this screw out in order to put the home button back in properly and make that work. So trying to home button that's in this phone is a mess. And you know, one thing you'll see on my videos, we're just taking people's phones that are brought into the shop, we're repairing it and recording a video on it. So we don't know what we're going to get. You know, we go off of what people say. Even this clicker on the back doesn't really look very good either. It looks kind of damaged. I'm going to put it back in. We're going to see, you know, how it works once it's functioned. And if we have a separate issue with that, I'll probably cut the video because really this video is only mainly to show how to change the screen out. Like I say, you can buy the screens that have all these small parts already on it, but you don't want to buy the screens that have the small parts and that actually have the home button, because then you'll lose your fingerprint scanner automatically. You always want to transfer the home button over on any phones that are iPhone 5S and above, because they have the fingerprint scanner. Now, we put it back together. All I did was connected the home button, put the home button cover back over it, and got everything pretty much back together. Home button is clicking, does seem to be working, so I think we're good to go there. What I'm doing now is just connecting these back together. Again, it's not too complicated. We're just going back in reverse order. So, and then you'll want to connect the battery connector back together. You'll put the 4 screws in that go back over the cover for the LCD and digitizer. Again, make sure those are in the correct order. You don't want to cause any long screw damage, which give you image issues, power issues. There's an assortment of different things that you could get from that. Now, I doubt we'll be posting every day. It's just it takes up so much time to make these videos and to get these videos posted. We'll try to post maybe a couple times a week. If the channel starts doing really well, then we may start trying to put more focus into it and taking care of that and adding more videos more frequently. So like I say, now you've got your screws in here, your cover, you got your battery cover and screws in. All you do is just kind of drop it in up at the top and then slowly snap it back into place. And the last thing you got to do is go over here and grab your torque and get those bottom screws put back in. And you're good to go. So one thing to note, and there may be some criticism of that, but we do not put the sealant back around on the screen. Our screens do not come with that. You're welcome to do that on the 6S and above. You can order that, I believe, and put it on there. We let our customers know. The only thing that it potentially does is say that they're water resistant, but I can tell you from experience, iPhones are typically not water resistant. So, but if you like the video, hit the subscribe button. I'll probably try to put something up on the screen where you can do that automatically, and then invite your friends, have them check it out. Appreciate you going with us, but there's the screen. Everything's good to go. Thank you.